What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tiger Wire podcast, where we are all sports, all passion, all of the time. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on today's episode. What a time. Middle of March. We are thriving. It's actually end of March, but middle of March Madness going well. We got the ACC tournament that happened real recently. NC State won that. Congrats to the Wolfpack. And then now we're in the middle of March, so it is Sweet 16 time. We thought we'd bring on a couple of guest people onto this episode so that we can just talk and dissect what's been going on. So welcome back to the podcast, our regular group. We got Anthony Morrow, Richland County Sheriff Department officer, and we have Michael Craver from Duke Blue Central. Welcome, fellas.
Hooray! We're in.
We're back.
Back again. Y'all didn't finish it. You're supposed to guess it's back.
No.
That's okay.
No.
That's all right.
No, not playing
No,
along.
no Marshall Mathers fans.
No games.
Anthony, how's it feel? ACC champion. I don't know what that's like.
As you can tell, I got the merch in already.
Repping the shirt.
Of course. What a run. That was fun. I've enjoyed it. Seven wins now in 12 days.
Did you celebrate by getting a drink at one of DJ Burns' vending machines?
I should have. Actually, I just recently learned that that's a thing. Like 2
Hold
days
on,
ago.
I'm out of the loop on
Oh,
this.
you didn't get it. You didn't pick up on
I'm
it.
out of the loop. What happened?
He has his own vending machines that he has bought.
It's a
and
side hustle.
Yeah.
Is that legal with the NIL?
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, he's not even using his name. He just owns vending machines.
Oh, it's not like the Burns vending machine?
No, it's just like a regular.
Yeah.
I think he just has regular machines in a couple of stores and stuff.
Yeah, have you never heard of this? You just buy the machine yourself.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And then people supply it, and he makes money from it.
Perfectly cool.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
hey,
I don't know how much revenue it is, but.
And speaking of NC State, Michael sent me a text day one and said that they were going to lose by 50 points. And
When was this text?
I'm just kidding. You
I
got to
don't
start
remember.
the debate.
I don't
Get the
remember predicting a
controversy.
50-point L.
All I know is I remember very clearly that John predicted NC State over North Carolina day 3 of the ACC tournament against North Carolina to win it all. So,
Welcome to the Clemson Tiger Wire podcast, where we can see the future. If you're a betting person, listen to your takes here. Go ahead and mark down my bets so you can make some money on it. You can tip. Send us some Apple Pays. We accept that. It's all right. Only 10% commission. Hey,
so thank you for talking that into existence while we're on the topic.
there we go.
It means a lot.
Of course. So we're in March Madness. We haven't talked to them a little bit. I wanted to recap what our predictions were when it came down to the tournament. So very beginning of the season, we got together and we went through the final standings we predicted. We went through awards, all that kind of stuff. We all predicted what teams would make the postseason. I believe we all three got 3 right with Clemson, Carolina, and Duke.
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
Awesome.
I think we did.
So that was it. I thought it was just going to be 3 and done. I thought it would just be those 3, and I was wrong. So I went 3 for 5. Michael, what was your predictions?
Yeah, I had all those plus Wake, which obviously did not pan out.
So you went 3 for 5 as well, with 1 incorrect. Anthony, what'd you have?
I believe mine was very, if not the same as Michael, but very similar. I had Wake up there. I did not have Virginia. I actually, out of all 3 of us, had them predicted pretty low. So I didn't predict them to make it into the tournament.
So all of us slept on the Wolfpack, and all of us rightfully slept on Virginia.
Yes.
Let's call it.
I don't think any of us would have predicted NC State to get in the day the ACC tournament started. I still wouldn't have predicted them to get in.
I predicted them day
It took
3.
all 5 days to get us in.
Took them all.
Yeah, but they're playing well. They're playing well so far.
Look where they are.
That's right. So since we're talking about NC State, let's keep that going. So we all did decent with the predictions. Now let's just talk through the walk. Let's walk through what this has been for NC State. What has y'all's walk been so far? So y'all started over with Duke.
We had
in
took
the
on Texas
South
Tech.
region. Yeah. Talk about that Texas Tech game. How was that?
We played overall. That game wasn't our best game by no means. We weren't doing it. I think I texted you at halftime. I liked our performance, but we weren't blowing them out of the water by no means. We did enough that game to get past Texas Tech, which that's all you got to do in March. So was
The
pretty
Middlebrooks
happy.
game.
Yeah, that was the Middlebrooks game, career high, 21 points.
I don't miss him.
I think you tweeted that, right?
I did.
He had an awesome game. He played
He
amazing
did.
that game.
Yeah, that was a game where nobody else was really doing much, and you just fed the ball to Middlebrooks, and he was going to the basket. So
State, y'all looked really good in that game, and honestly, the game was never really in question when it came down to it. It was y'all were pretty confident, pretty ahead most of the time.
I don't think we lost the lead against them, or maybe early on, but for the most part, yeah we had the lead.
Pretty sure it was a pretty dominating performance.
So you beat Texas Tech, and then you went in and you faced, was it Colorado?
Oakland.
Oakland team.
Oakland.
Fresh off a Kentucky win.
That's right.
I knew going into that we had to lock down the 3-point shooter.
Yeah, the 30-year-old.
I can't remember. What's his name again?
Yeah, Jack.
Jack.
Is it Goki? Something like
Goku.
that.
Jack Goku.
And then the crazy part to me is he doesn't
don't
even
think
start.
It's Goku.
He doesn't even start.
Nope.
Comes off the bench.
But after he comes off the bench, he never sits back down. So I don't know why he doesn't start.
Yeah, and then who else did they have? Townsend. Townsend was good.
Oh, he was great in that game.
He had a solid first game, I remember, against Kentucky also, those two. And then he showed up, scored 30 on NC State. But it was a nail-biter, went into overtime. I definitely, when it got down to about 1:30, I didn't really have a good feeling about us. And then somehow tied it up. Didn't feel good. It was like 66-66, not the best numbers. Didn't feel good going into overtime. And then, somehow we got hot. DJ Burns. That's pretty much what got us that one. Whether he was passing it, ditching it out to Morcell or Taylor, or just going to the basket and scoring himself. So big shout out to DJ for that win for us.
DJ Burns he's kind of like a Jokic, but without the athleticism. Like as far as the speed, he's very athletic,
and that's saying something.
I mean, yeah, true.
Because Jokic,
people
don't talk about his athleticism.
But I mean, Jokic will bring the ball up. He'll facilitate as like a point center. DJ Burns is that facilitator, but from the center position on the court, like down.
And I don't know if you noticed during
baseline.
that last game, they had to use him a lot in the top of the key, right there at the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
They started running that zone, which kind of threw us off a little bit, but he was still able to dish it out from the free throw line.
He's definitely a facilitating big man. He's something. People sleep on him.
They were able to limit him a little, but he was able to pass out still, that's his game though.
Yeah, he ended up with he had 24 points and 4 assists. So
they played really well. I mean, that Colorado game wasn't the prettiest, but it was good.
Oakland
game. Yeah.
I actually think Diarra fouling out in that game was actually a blessing in disguise for NC State because it allowed them to play small and get another shooter on the court. And the guy who they subbed in made the dagger 3, who Oakland wasn't used to guarding because they were used to another big man being on the court for the whole game.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know, it was kind of, the broadcasters pointed that out. It was like when he fouled out, it looked like it was going to be a disaster, but it actually allowed NC State to have another shooter on the court that Oakland wasn't expecting.
What was his name? Taylor?
He's number one. Yeah. Number one.
Taylor.
Who is he?
Jaden Taylor.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that big shot from the corner.
Yeah, and that's the guy who came in for Diarra when he fouled out.
Good point.
That was interesting. For a minute there, Oakland didn't have the lead the entire game, and then they took it with 2 minutes to go. I was saying it was over, but that was a good win.
It gave me throwbacks to the Virginia game in the ACC tournament.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
I thought it was over. I didn't think we had it, and then somehow managed to do enough to get it to overtime.
I don't know if y'all listened to that episode, but that game frustrated me more than a lot. That Virginia game, because I was pulling for NC State the majority of that game. I was like, all right, pull for NC State. I hope they win. Then Virginia took the lead late, and I was like, it's over. And I was like, honestly,
sure.
I was like, no offense to Anthony, but a lot of NC State fans are annoying. So, no offense to
let's go
Wolfpack fans
Virginia.
listening. So I was like, I'm okay if Virginia wins this game, and then NC State wins the stupid game.
Yeah.
That's immediately when I was like, yeah, NC State's winning
right now.
That's what's crazy. If Virginia had played better defense on that shot to go into overtime, NC State would not have been in the tournament, let alone in the Sweet 16 where they are now. So that shot,
basically,
that shot is really the shot of their season.
You have to send a thank you card to Tony Bennett saying thank you for terrible defense.
I'm gonna send it to O'Connell because he hit the dagger of a three, and then
it was a crazy
Oakland,
shot.
He got the and one to tie the game up in the 32 round of 32.
Yeah.
Right? No, 32.
He's got have you seen his assist to turnover ratio in the March Madness right now?
I'm not.
He's I think he's got 16 assists to 2 turnovers, or 14 and 3 or something like that. It's very, very high assist. I think it's 4-1, 4.5 to 1. Couldn't ask for much better from a point guard. Yeah, couldn't ask for much better. But nice. It was a good game. State's played well. So now they got Marquette. We'll get to predictions in a second, but real quick, you think NC State can take Marquette?
Why not? Why not us? That's the slogan we're passing around right now, right? So sure, I'm believing in it. Let's do it. Friday's going to be a fun game.
All right, there we go. All right, so Steve, there's NC State. We'll come back to Anthony in a second. Michael, let's talk about Duke. What's Duke's tournament run been like so far?
Duke has been great. I mean, people forget that when we lost to NC State in the first round of the quarterfinal, first round of the ACC tournament, it was going to be 8 days until we next played a game against Vermont, and it ended up being when we played Vermont, it had been 2 weeks since this Duke team had won a game, and that's a pretty wild thing to come out of the tournament, go into the tournament on that cold of a streak, especially for a team like Duke. So Vermont is a feisty team. They played good defense. They were one of the hottest teams in the country. I think they had won 12 in a row when Duke played them. And some of the first game for Duke, I think, was just getting the rust off, getting back into game shape, basically. But they let Vermont hang in there for longer than I thought they should. But it was essentially a 9 to 10 point lead a lot of the late second half. So a mildly comfortable game. The big story of that one was Kyle Filipowski shot the ball one time the entire game. He had one shot, 3 points at the line. I actually think he had a great game, though. Vermont's totally just tried to take him out, double teamed him every time he got the ball, but he was able to kick out, and the guards were able to make plays. And he also finished with, I think he had 12 rebounds and 3 or 4 blocks. So great defensive game from Flip. Flip's defense has been awesome to start the tournament, but we got through Vermont. Next game, JMU. JMU had just steamrolled Wisconsin. They punched Wisconsin in the mouth from go, and played incredible defense against them. Wisconsin's kind of different than this year's Wisconsin team is different than most years Wisconsin's team, in that this year they were really good at offense and leaned on offense instead of defense. JMU totally shut them down, allowed only 19 points at half, 20 points at a half for Wisconsin. And the talk was how physical JMU was, even though they're a mid-major team. They're a 30-win team who was the hottest team in the country, hadn't lost a game since January. And the talk was how physical it was going to be, how well JMU's defense was equipped to handle Duke. And Duke just smashed them, and it was not close ever. We got their best player. They have a point guard named Edwards. He picked up 2 fouls in about 2 minutes, and that even before that, though, we were making shots. The big one of that is Jared McCain having a 30-point game in the second round. He went 8 for 11 from 3. He set the record for most three-pointers made, I think, by a Duke player in the NCAA tournament. If not a Duke player, at least a Duke freshman. Also is only the second player ever to score 30 points and have no turnovers. He had an incredible game, but Duke as a whole had a crazy game. Flip was back. I mean, we shot higher than 50% from the 3, so it was just a crazy game for Duke. And on top of all that, we played excellent defense. We held JMU to 55 points when their season average is over 80. So this Duke team right now is, other than some shakes in the Vermont game, which I think was just getting back into the flow of playing a basketball game after like 8 days, this Duke team is playing like we thought they would in the preseason poll when they said they were the number 2 team in the country.
Duke's been electric this tournament. I think. Yeah. I mean, all levels they've been playing really well. That JMU game. I mean, I remember talking to you, and it was kind of like,
over.
Yeah, and it was. Gosh, it was. Jared McCain came out lights on fire. He was playing really well. It felt like, honestly, I feel like that JMU game, it really displayed just how much talent Duke has. Because, I mean, it was like, yes, Jared McCain took over and was playing excellent. But at the same time, everyone else on the court didn't look bad from Duke.
No.
Like, it wasn't like he was carrying. Exactly. It was.
No, he was just hot. And McCain has some of these games where he just can't miss from 3, and the team knows that and knows to just give it to him. And they did. But even like guys like Tyrese Proctor went 4 for 10 from 3, which is, it's 40%. We'll take that.
Be happy with that
and
for sure.
He had, I think, a 17-point game. Flip responded with a 14-point game. It was the most fun Duke game of the year all year for me. And to have that in the second round of a tournament is, I know JMU's a 12 seed, but most people thought they were a little underseeded and were playing above their level. And Duke made them look like they didn't belong in the same stratosphere as them. So it was great. But best game of the year, most fun game of the year.
That was a good one for sure.
What was the little dude's name that came in for Duke against JMU that everybody was talking about?
Spencer Hubbard.
Yeah,
he's a legend. He
can't forget his point.
He's a legend. He can shoot the 3, and he almost did at the end of the game. But he's like 5'8". He actually earned a scholarship this year, but he's been a walk-on for his whole career at Duke, and the guys really like him. Good practice type player, but. 2 tournament games. We've had 2 Spencer Hubbard appearances. If we can keep that up, I have a good feeling about the Duke team. Sure. If he's on the court, good things have happened. So,
or really bad things.
Or extremely bad things. Not that Spencer Hubbard is a bad player. If he was 6'2", the world would be in trouble.
It just looks so much smaller than everybody when
he
got
is.
On
and
court.
What's funny is like they list him at 5'8". He's probably like 5'6". They give you a couple inches on your height on the. But man, he looks. That's a pretty short guy, but not like insane. But man, he is at Flip's waist basically. It's wild seeing them on the same court. But yeah, great stuff.
So y'all would have. Y'all got in my opinion, a little tougher of a matchup than NC State in the Sweet 16. What's your opinions coming on this Houston team?
Houston is an excellent team. I mean, they've lost 4 games all year, and one of those was in the conference tournament. So they're a 3-loss regular season team in the Big 12, a notoriously difficult conference to win in consistently. The thing they hang their hat on is defense and physicality, as well as playing through, in particular, their point guard. But again, I think actually, and this is something I talked about on the preview for Houston, for my podcast, is JMU, I think, was a really good prep for Houston. They play similar games, but Houston is just at a much higher level. Houston is the most physical team in the tournament by bar none. They're, I think, the best defensive team in all of college basketball. And they have a really good point guard that has a pass first mentality and can score. So Houston is an excellent team, and it's going to take a performance from Duke like the one they just had at JMU to beat the Cougars.
Need another.
Plus it's in Dallas. Plus it's in Dallas, so almost an away game for Duke. But yeah, another 30-point game for McCain would be amazing.
You think? What's your prediction? Think you win?
I think Duke can win against Houston. I think I said it from the beginning. If there was a 1 seed I wanted for Duke to be in their region, it was Houston, because I feel like against ultra defensive teams, Duke has actually performed really well. I think another factor against Houston is their guys that play down low are 6'8" and 6'9". They don't really have like a true center. And as you know, Duke's got one of the best true centers in college basketball in Kyle Filipowski, and I think he'll be able to exploit the few inches of height that he has on the big man, and I think that can open up the guard play for Duke. But Duke has to hit threes, and they have to play physical are the two keys. If you're watching this game and Duke is not shooting well from three, we will not win. And that's not like, I think we can shoot about 35% and still win, but ideally we want to be shooting at a high clip. And I think we'll get those shots, open shots, because Flip is such a demanding player to defend. But that's a big key for me. How well is Duke shooting threes, and how physical are they being? And a big sign of that is how well are they rebounding? Those are two big things for me if they can win. But I do think we'll get it done. I think this Duke team is pretty well suited to beat Houston, and I'm always going to lean towards Duke anyway. But but I think we're well equipped that we can beat them. And I know that's what everybody says, like, we can beat this team on our best day. But a big thing about this is how that game gets officiated. Texas A&M shot 43s against Houston. If they send us to the line 40 times, we're going to win. So
threes or free throws?
Free throws, sorry. Yeah, free throws. That would be insane.
Yeah.
43s, did I say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 40 free throws. If you're on the other hand, if you're watching this game and the refs are calling it really tight and Duke's getting to the line, I don't think we can lose, because unless they're calling it really tight and they get like 3 on Flip in the first half or something. But if the tighter the refs call the game, the worse it is for Houston in my mind. So we're going to the line a lot too. I feel good.
It should be a good game. That's going to be one of the better games
no
it's definitely going to be one of the better games of this round for sure. But all right, so now we'll transition to Clemson. Either y'all have a chance to watch that New Mexico game?
I missed that one. Duke was playing at a very similar time, so I was watching Duke, but I caught the highlights of it.
I also missed that one. I was in Memphis at the time, but in the airport. Went back and watched it afterwards. Man, I was nervous about that New Mexico game because New Mexico was definitely, in my opinion, underranked. 22nd in the net. I did not think they should be an 11 seed, but came out and, gosh, Clemson just outplayed them start to finish. We trailed by 2 early on, but we held them to a very poor field goal percentage. I think they shot less than 30 and like 13% from the 3. Clemson shot 44%, and I think like they made a third of the 3-point shots. So shot the ball really well, had great defense, forced more turnovers. Early on in the year, Clemson was more of a got to out-rebound a team. If we're going to win, we got to win in rebounds. That hasn't been the case. We didn't out-rebound New Mexico. I don't think we out-rebound Baylor. Not positive on that. Don't have that pulled up. But, yeah, I thought we played really well. We passed the ball. We moved the ball.
Both games.
We lost by 1. So, yeah. We're losing the rebounds, which, I mean, it's not like a massive one. But it's still – it used to be if we didn't out-rebound by a lot, it wasn't a great game. But I honestly, Chase Hunter has been – the guy that I'm leaning on heavily in this tournament. I think he's played great. I think he's got 40 points combined in the first 2 games. Ian Shefflin had a great game against New Mexico, had 16 points and 12 rebounds. He played well. Yeah, that first game against New Mexico, it was pretty much what you needed to see. It was exactly what you needed them to do. They did. Only thing that my biggest would be Jack Clark. He didn't play too hot. Only made like 2 baskets and a free throw. Had like 7 points. But at the end of the day, we won by 21. You can't be too upset about anything. But yeah, we beat. So that New Mexico game felt really good in. And then we moved on to Baylor. And gosh, that game, what a roller coaster. I don't know if y'all watched it, but it was up and down.
Yeah,
had a big lead. Had a really big lead. I think we led by 15 at one point with like 6 minutes left.
It might have been 17 or something. I mean, it was big.
15.
It was
15.
Yeah. Grant, Baylor never led, so they didn't have a lead the entire game. But gosh, they cut it close late. Again, another big game by Chase Hunter, 20 points. We shot the ball really well. Shot the ball almost 50%, 35 from the 3. They shot 38% and 25. We started off hot. That's what helped us. We started off right off the bat. And I remember I was talking to Michael, Anthony, I think you were there too. I was talking about how in order for us to beat Baylor, we couldn't get behind. You're not – they're athletic of a team. They can score. If we got behind there, we were in trouble. And early on, Ian Shefflin and P.J. Hall, I think they played a combined 18 minutes in the first half. So I was worried about foul trouble, but played really well. Got down to the second half, and foul trouble continued it. P.J. Hall sat early. P.J. Hall really didn't have a good game this game. Scored double digits, but it wasn't a good game. But yeah, I'm telling you, those missed free throws at the end by Baylor, would not have expected that. Baylor had every chance to tie it up, make it closer, and they missed 3 straight free throws at the end of the game. They had 4 one-on-one chances in the second half, and they missed the first shot in the one-on-one all 4 times. The free throws, they killed it. Total free throw attempts, they shot 16 for 26 for 60%. They left 10 free throws on the board. 10 points right there. We won by 8. So,
and some of that was just like stacking free throws at the end.
Absolutely.
Like probably 4 of those points were just like Gerard hitting just icing on the cake.
You had RJ Godfrey hit 4 big ones late, and then Joe Girard hit the last 2.
And he's like a 60% free throw shooter now.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, 4 for 4.
And the Baylor guy was like 85%, and he missed both to tie. Insane.
It was. I'll be honest. If you see a lot of talk about Clemson, all the ranking. If you see where they'll re-rank the Sweet 16 teams, a lot of people I'm seeing are putting Clemson at the bottom, and I part of me gets like why they're ranked near the bottom, but overall we played 2 really good teams, a 22 overall in the net, and then a 3 seed, and we've only trailed for a combined 30 seconds in both 2 rounds, and I feel like they're sleeping on them. I feel like they're not appreciating it. And the big part is we're doing all this without P.J. Hall. P.J. Hall has not played his normal game. He's not played his normal stats. He's not played his normal ability. If Chase Hunter keeps scoring and P.J. Hall decides he wants to show up, this last game against Baylor, he had 11 points and 3 rebounds. So I think if Clemson's got a great chance, they're in a great spot, definitely succeeded expectations. I think they keep doing it. So playing well.
Yeah, what's funny about New Mexico is they were the trendy 11 seed to win the first round game. Every other 11 seed won. Duquesne, NC State, and Oregon all won, and New Mexico State lost in dramatic fashion. So it's just a funny. Maybe don't listen to your media personalities all the time, because sometimes they'll sell you on stuff that comes not to pass. But
so y'all play Arizona next, right?
Got Arizona. That's gonna be a good game. I have them in my bracket. I have Arizona going to the championship and losing to my champion. But we'll get that second. But honestly, thinking about it through, we've beat some teams that play similar style to Arizona, that fast pace, great scoring offense. I don't know if we've played one. Duke's up there with them. Carolina's up there. But, I don't know if we've played one as much as they have, just with Caleb Love, their ability to score at a quick pace is quick. But honestly, I think if we can come out, stay with them at the beginning, don't allow too many big runs with long, empty scoring, Clemson's got a chance. They've got a good shot. They're physical. They play good rebound. If we can make the game be our pace, I think we got a good chance.
Yeah, how Shefflin plays defense or Hall on Ballo is going to be really key for them, I think. Ballo for Arizona is a really good big man. If this is one where he's able to get Shefflin into foul trouble early or something like that, I don't know if there's another player on the court that can defend him without a double team.
Yeah.
And then when you're doubling, you're asking for Caleb Love or Boswell to hit a crazy shot. So, but I do think you're right. From like Clemson's very talented, and they continue shooting the ball well. Anything is possible.
I think Jack Clark can play defense on a big man for a couple possessions. He can't do it the whole game. So I think
Shefflin's going to be your guy to get Ballo.
I think PJ Hall could stick with him, but I think PJ Hall would have 3 fouls by the end of the first half.
And you need him to be able to run to the perimeter and stuff, which Shefflin's not going to do as well.
Yeah. Let Chef cook on him.
Should be a good game. I think Shefflin's had a great tournament. It's going to be fun watching him and Ballo go at it on both ends of the court.
I'm excited about it.
Shefflin might be able to put him in the spin cycle a couple times.
Hey, did y'all see that shot he hit against Baylor, falling away over his head?
Yeah.
Oh, missed the foul shot, but whatever. He made it. No, that's a good game. So, last thing, I'm going to throw a surprise on y'all. All right. I don't know if y'all saw this, but I sent a tweet out, and it was a quoting of another person where someone ranked the top 16 coaches, the 16 in the Sweet 16.
Did see that.
14th place was Hubert Davis. 15th was John Shire. 16th was Brad Brownell. No, 15th was Brad Brownell, and 16th was Kevin Keats. So 13, 14, 15, 16. The bottom 4 of these are ACC coaches. What hate is coming from the ACC? Did someone like spit in somebody's cereal? What happened?
Who's like right above them? I'm interested.
Can
we look at the tweet?
Yeah,
is that possible? Let's look at it. Anthony, do you think Kevin Keats is the bottom of that list for coaches in the Sweet 16?
I would say I wouldn't put him up at the top by no means. Okay. However, I feel like it's kind of a disrespect due to how this season, the end of the season, has transpired.
Yeah, I get it. Somebody's got to be at the bottom though. And I don't know who it is.
For sure. And obviously, I get the point where the 11th seed, right? We're the only double digit left. I see where.
But you're the only double digit left.
Yeah.
That should speak to it.
No, I get that, and that's what I'm saying. I understand where people are coming from.
So who's right above the ACC guys?
I was saying, Anthony, that you're the only double digit, but you're the only coach that's got a double digit to the Sweet 16. That deserves some kind of respect.
Yeah.
But here's the list. Here it is. So it cut off a little bit, but so right above us we got Brad Underwood, from Illinois? Yeah.
Man, Shaka, they've got Shaka pretty low.
I think that TJ Alzederberger, I think he's coach of the year in my opinion.
He's a good coach. Rick Barnes is like an old classic coach. Right. Tommy Lloyd. Shaka Smart to me should be higher. I think Matt Painter might be a little overrated. Purdue's had great regular season success, but has done nothing in the postseason. Yeah, Nate Oates to me is like, what is he doing up there? Maybe I'm just an Alabama hater, but that's crazy. And then Mark Few and Danny Hurley, I think one of those guys should be number 1. I might put Dan Hurley number 1, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't see how the ACC deserves the bottom 4.
All right, so with this list, where's Hubert going? Where do y'all have Hubert? The top 2, top 5?
No.
Yeah, I would struggle putting.
I think
so. Due to NC State and Clemson's resume, I think that hurts them overall. But both of our coaches' tenures, right? If we're basing it solely on this season, that's different. But
no, it's how good are they as a coach?
Yeah.
I don't think it's this season.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's tough because North Carolina and Duke's coaches are still fairly new.
I think that's why they can put them down there because, like, Hubert's only had 3 seasons. John's had 2. So it's like how I can get why maybe they don't want to rank him above a guy that has been at his program for a long time. But still, some of the other decisions really I question too.
But like you said, with the Purdue coach, I mean, they've literally choked every single year when they've had even Edie there. Like even this year in their conference tournament, they couldn't pull it out. So
who do you have? Is there any coach that's below all 4 ACC coach in y'all's opinion?
All 4?
Yep.
Maybe Illinois. Like what have they really?
I might stay with that bottom 2. No, God bless Keats.
Again, like
himself.
I said, if you're taking the overall in their career,
overall,
I
it's hard to be like, oh, Kevin Keats is better than Underwood.
Sure.
Like Illinois has made several tournaments. They won the Big Ten championship this year, and they overachieve with not as much talent as other teams in the Big Ten. And like Brad is having a good year, or Clemson's having a good year, but is that enough for me to be like, yeah, he's better than Rick Barnes, who's like gets to the tournament a ton? I don't know. I think with a lot of the, like with Hubert and John in particular, it's like they're just so new. I maybe kind of understand why they didn't want to put them above certain guys, but I think they're better than that. But
I would like clarification whether this is this year or overall.
Overall.
I think it's overall.
Okay.
Who's number 1? Who do you guys think is the best on this list?
I'm probably going Dan Hurley.
Yeah, I think it's Hurley. I think you could say Mark Few and I wouldn't get upset because Gonzaga is Gonzaga. I mean, they've made the Sweet 16. How many years did they say? Like they've made the Sweet 16 like 9 times in a row. That's, I mean, no championships, so you knock them for that, but that's just really sustained success. But Dan Hurley's got the championship. He fresh coming off one, and he recruits well.
What's the name of their conference? Like West Coast or something?
Yeah, it's the WCC,
like they don't even play...
West Coast Conference. St. Mary's is the only other team in there.
Gotcha.
So who are you putting? So you're keeping Michael. You're keeping Brad and Kevin at the bottom 2.
I think I would put Brad and Kevin at the bottom 2.
What order?
You're pinning me into a corner here, trying to get the door. I think. Let me think about that.
Anthony, you got your answer while he's thinking?
We're very similar, Brad and Kevin.
I would probably put Brad lower than Keats because Keats in the previous years has had okay teams. Like I think of like the NC State teams with more talent. Now this Clemson team has more talent than average too, but I don't know. It's close to me. That's where I'm leaning. Where are you guys at?
I would agree. I think they're interchangeable. Obviously Brad has.
I'm not like triggered either way,
but Brad has more years where Keats hasn't been there as long to, I guess, match what he's done at Clemson. Because this is what, the second Sweet 16 under him?
This is second Sweet 16 in 7 years.
Maybe you put Keats above him because he did bring in the ACC championship this year, and that would maybe be the only factor that I would say at this point. Like I said, they could interchange.
How many tournament appearances does Kevin Keats have?
I think this was our 3rd.
In how many years?
7.
So
I can look it up real quich.
They made it this year and last year at least.
Yeah.
Brad is sitting at 3 for the past 7 years as well, counting this year.
So it's really close.
But then he also has won his very first year. But I think that won his very first year was also coming off something people don't talk about. Oliver Purnell, for his 4th to last year, was a bubble team and then got to the NIT finals. And then his last 3 years made the tournament. Granted, he lost first round all 3 years, but
Still made it 3 years.
Still
in a
made
row.
it 3 to end this career. Then he got hired at DePaul, got fired a couple years later, but that's not important. But Brad made it his first year off of literally a team that made it 3 years in a row. So they made it 4 years in a row, and then he didn't make it again for 6 years.
And you could say the same thing as Keats because he got it his first year. That's a Mark Godfrey team. This was before all the major transfer stuff started. A lot. But since then, the past 2 years, and then he's made the NIT twice.
I would say Terquavion Smith and Harold Joyner is his best team with Burns. And he assembled that team. Yeah. And this year's Brad's best team.
By far.
Again, the only argument I would have to put Keats over him is that the fact that he has pulled an ACC championship, and that's it.
Do you like? Are you in agreement, John?
I am. I'd put Keats above him, just because, like you're talking about, 3 tournaments in 7 years. That looks a lot better than Brad's 1 in his first 7. I think overall recruiting, State's had a little bit better. I think Brad's a little bit better in the transfer portal, honestly. And I'm just basing that. We've had 2 years of transfers, really this new modern transfer age. 1 year, 2 year, and he's got Joe Girard, which I think was a top 5, top 10 transfer in the nation. Pulling that Jack Clark, being able to get Jack Clark. Granted, Ben Middlebrooks is pulling really well. I think that trade will go down in history as one of the best of all time that benefited both teams.
For sure.
I don't know of another college basketball trade. Granted, it's very new, but that benefited both teams exactly how it needed. I think Jack Clark was what we needed. Ben Middlebrooks what you needed. But yeah, I'd have Brad Burnell 16, Kevin Keats 15. If Brad comes out next year, I think next year, everyone knows I'm not the hugest Brad Burnell fan. I'll be first to acknowledge that. I love him as a person, but when it comes to him as a coach, I think next year is going to be huge on Brad. Once he's going to lose PJ Hall to the draft. Jack Clark's done. Joe Girard's done. Chase Hunter might be done unless he comes back for a 6th year. When he comes back next year and we truly get to see if he can rebuild a team with all this talent, that'll be huge in saying if Brad's the coach or if he's just riding a team of a lot of talent. Yeah, so I would agree. Brad 16, Kevin 15.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to talk about Shire really fast.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I think with him, I understand why you put him this low because this is his 2nd year coaching Duke. It's unknown what his future success is going to be. He won the ACC championship his first year as a coach, but got knocked out in the round of 32. This year he's made his first Sweet 16. And my thing is, if you want to go career based, I'm fine with putting John down here because he doesn't have much of a career. Now, as far as a head-to-head coaching matchup, do I like John Shire over a bunch of these other guys as a in-game strategist, which I think is maybe his strong suit as a coach? I like him against most of this list. I think there are a few guys I think in-game could probably get him. I think like Rick Barnes could get him in game. He did last year at Tennessee. I think Dan Hurley could get him, and I think Mark Few could get him. Kind of everybody else, I feel good. Tommy Lloyd is a good coach too at Arizona. Other than that, I feel good about his head-to-head game against any of these guys. But the thing that's the ace in the hole for Shire is that John Shire may be the best college basketball recruiter ever. A lot of it was when Coach K was around and we were getting number 1 class after number 1 class. He's left and we've had the number 1, the number 2, and now the number 1 next year recruiting class. And that's something none of these other coaches can say is John brings in the talent like nobody else on this list. So I'm fine with John being on this low. If you're talking career, I think he's right in line with Hubert. Hubert did make a Final Four, but John was able to get an ACC championship. So you're messing around comparing apples to apples there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on John.
I think my opinion is, and I might just be a Bama hater, I think Nate Oates should be 14. Yeah. I'm dropping him way low. I also think Brad Underwood should be below Hubert and John Shire. Shaka Smart, I'd probably put higher. I think, Michael, did you say that? I like Shaka Smart.
I like him.
Yeah.
He has made Marquette a really high seed since he's been there.
I would probably drop Greg McDermott. I think he's a little higher there. I think he's just riding his son's name. I'm just kidding. No, I'd probably drop Greg McDermott down to outside the top 10, probably.
I think Rick Barnes is probably better. And Rick Barnes and Tommy Lloyd, I'd probably favor a little over him.
I think that TJ Otzelberger, I think he's going to be a great coach. He's going to be higher up on the list in a couple of years for sure. But awesome. Appreciate y'all entertaining me there. Throw a little surprise on me.
Good sidetrack.
So we're going to end the show with this. We're all three going to do this. It'll be fun. We are all going to join. We're going to make a bracket. We're going to go through and pick our brackets right now with the final 16. So which one of y'all would like to go first?
How are we doing it? We're picking a game and picking a winner?
You are going through the bracket.
Filling out the whole bracket.
Filling out the rest of the bracket. And I'm going to keep track of it on this. So we'll have it.
Okay. The first game up, we have UConn and San Diego State. I think UConn is one of the best teams, and I had them going very far, so I will take UConn.
All right.
Iowa State and Illinois. I'm taking Iowa State in that one. I think they have they played really well in their conference tournament. I caught a little bit of it. They look like they have a solid team, so I'm going to take them. And then North Carolina, Bama, I am going to take North Carolina, as much as it pains me to say that. They've been playing very well in the tournament thus far, so I don't see why they can't send Bama home. Clemson and Arizona. I think that Arizona might be a little too much for Clemson to handle. I would love for Clemson to keep going. No offense to them, but I'm going to take Arizona in that game. And then Duke and Houston. Houston worried me a little bit in their last game. I don't know what Houston will come out and play, but I like Duke's performance, so I'm taking Duke over Houston. Then we have NC State Marquette. I'm biased on this one. I think I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to take us one more round and take NC State with one more upset.
Duke and State in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
How about that? What a game that would be.
That's what I'm going with.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Then I have Purdue and Gonzaga. I don't know. Again, Purdue worries me because of their history, but I will take Purdue over Gonzaga. And then for the last game, I will take Creighton over Tennessee. I'm jumping on the Creighton bandwagon. I've seen a lot of people about their team. And I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon and take Creighton.
All right. So then you would have first matchup in Elite Eight, UConn and Iowa State.
UConn and Iowa State. Again, I'm leaning towards, from what a lot of people are saying and what I've seen, is UConn. They're probably one of the best teams in the country. So taking UConn for a second year, and right, then
UNC Arizona.
UNC Arizona, again, it hates to say this, but I'm taking the Tar Heels.
Duke and State.
I would love for our Magic to keep going more than anything. I would give up every single bracket I have for us to keep going, but I am going to go with Duke.
Purdue and Creighton.
Again, I'm going to stay on the bandwagon, and I'm taking Creighton.
All right. Final four, you got UConn and UNC.
I like that matchup for us. I like the way your bracket's falling for us right now.
UConn, UNC, I think it will probably be one of the games of the year, but I am going to take UConn.
All right, and then Duke and Creighton.
Duke and Creighton, I agree with you, Michael, on that. It favors y'all if it can get to that point, and I am going to take Duke over Creighton.
All right, UConn and Duke. What are you predicting for the champion, and what is your tiebreaker score?
In Shire's
great game.
Shire's second year making it to the national championship. A lot of hype. I think the nerves will get to Duke playing the powerhouse of UConn, and I'm taking UConn to win. The total score I'm going with is 163.
163. All right. So UConn over Duke submitted. We will see how that goes. That'd be a fun one. That'd be a fun bracket.
That would be a game away from a Duke UNC national championship game.
Yep.
How crazy would that? Well, has that ever? How long ago has it been since that happened? Ever?
Well, we played in the Final Four that one
Yeah.
time. That's the only time they've ever played in the tournament.
Oh,
Really?
Gosh. Yeah. What a game that would be for the title. Man.
All right.
Oh, part of me would
Mike?
love to see that because like they beat us twice. So I
Yeah.
have to think like we're gonna get one.
Yeah.
But
Hey, if State can do it, why not Duke, right?
yeah, I guess so.
Michael, if that
All right.
game happened, I would want to watch that with you.
Dude,
and I know you probably wouldn't want that.
I don't know if I could watch it with anybody. I might tell my wife to leave the house. All right.
Michael's bracket.
I'll go through it region by region to the Final Four. That
Okay.
seems a little easier than
Whatever,
having,
son.
Sorry,
like
I just went straight down the
I'm
list.
just I got it on the
fine.
app so I can keep track of it.
Okay,
so.
or is it more dramatic if I go round by round?
Either one.
I'll do the same thing Anthony did for the sake of continuity.
All right.
UConn, San Diego State. UConn, too good, too talented. They've been the best team all year. Illinois, Iowa State, I think is going to be a heck of a game. If Illinois can hit threes, they can win. I think Iowa State's too good defensively. So they move on. North Carolina, Alabama. Which team does not play defense? Alabama. They don't play defense. So they will lose to North Carolina. Clemson, Arizona. Chance to be a great game. I'm going to give it to Arizona, though. I'll be rooting for Clemson, and I hope they win. But I'll give it to Arizona, setting up the Caleb Love versus North Carolina rematch. Houston, Duke. I'll go ahead and I'll make a rule for myself. I won't pick Duke to win the whole thing because I want to every bracket I fill out. But people will just say I'm biased. I'm not going to pick Duke to win the whole thing. I will pick them to beat Houston, though. I think they're well set up to beat Houston. Duke moves on to the Elite Eight. NC State, Marquette. I think Marquette gets them, and they're the point guard play too good. I think NC State maybe stops on their run when they play a really elite team like Marquette. I'll be rooting for State once again. I'm rooting for any ACC team other than Carolina. And I realize this is pretty boring of a bracket. I think I have 1-2, 1-2, 4-2, and then next one, Purdue, Gonzaga. I think Purdue, this is their year to make it far. I'll take Purdue to move on to the Elite Eight. Zach Edey, too big for anyone on Gonzaga. And as long as the reps don't call a bunch of fouls on them, Purdue can beat anybody in this tournament. Creighton, Tennessee. I'm actually going to take Tennessee. I think Dalton Connect will be the best player on the floor. And I think in a tournament setting, having that much talent means a lot. Back up to the East, UConn, Iowa State, UConn. I think UConn, once again, consistently the best team. Iowa State's a really big defensive teams, but I don't think they'll match up to UConn and their talent and ability. North Carolina, Arizona. Caleb Love gets his revenge. Arizona moves on to the Final Four, and he will finish his career with one of the most interesting storylines of any college basketball player in history, going from defeating Duke in the Final Four, making a circus shot, to making a clutch three against his former team and sending them packing.
How many
what a
points
moment!
does he score?
And what a moment that he might score 50 in that game. No, but I'll take Arizona, UConn, Arizona on that side. Next, we would have Duke, Marquette. I'm taking Duke again. I think if Duke beats Houston, their path is easier to the Final Four than it was to the Elite Eight. I think we match up well against Marquette. I put us in the Final Four. Then we've got Purdue, Tennessee. I'm going to keep rolling with Purdue right now. I think as long as the officiating doesn't not favor Purdue, it's going to be hard for any team to beat them the way that Zach Edey plays. So that's the Final Four of UConn, Arizona, Duke, and Purdue. UConn, Arizona. I'm actually going to say Arizona wins this game. I like Arizona's shot makers. I like their ability in the clutch. I like that they've really been tested all year. And there are a lot of red flags for UConn, including that they won their conference championship and they won the national championship last year. A lot of those things don't typically tend to mean you're going to win, even though they have nothing to do with the way you play. I'm just going to go with that. Arizona in the national championship game. Duke, Purdue. Once again, I'm not picking Duke to win it all. Purdue wins this game. Zach Edey, too big, and he's the biggest matchup problem in all of college basketball. National championship between Arizona and Purdue. Arizona cuts down the nets, and it's because of their shot makers and their ability to play in the clutch.
Total score?
Total score, I think Arizona will get to 81. Purdue gets to 75. So that would be, do that math.
156.
Yep. There's my bracket.
All right.
That's my non-Duke bracket.
2 different champions.
No, I picked him in my non-Duke bracket.
No, I'm saying
I'm
saying you and Anthony have 2 different champions.
Oh yes.
So mine, we'll go through mine real quick. I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. We're gonna have 3 different champions between us.
Oh,
so I'm going through UConn, San Diego State. Yeah, I think UConn wins that. Not much to say. Illinois, Iowa State.
Man, San Diego State, here they come.
It's like the college game day.
I know, we've got to put up the graphics. Dang, man. I hope we do jinx them.
Illinois, Iowa State. I think Iowa State's a great ball team. I think they win that. So far, I'm agreeing with y'all. North Carolina, Bama. Yeah, I think it comes down to what Michael was saying. Both team is high scoring, shooting a lot of possessions this game, a lot of running. Carolina wins. Clemson and Arizona. I want to pick Clemson so bad. I want to, and I think we can. I believe we can do this. I know we can win this. In spirituality, keep it up. I started this year off predicting we would lose, and it's worked great for us. I'm predicting we'll lose this game.
Yeah, that's right.
Arizona win.
That's what you should do. Now Clemson's going to win.
Houston and Duke. I will be pulling for Duke. I think Duke is the better team out of the 2 teams, but I think Duke's going to have a slow game, and Houston's going to capitalize. So I think Houston's going to win that game. NC State and Marquette. I've been back and forth on this game. I want to say one of our ACC is going to go to the final or Elite 8. One of the 4, but they are. North Carolina's going to, and I think Marquette wins against NC State. I'm pulling for them. Pulling for the Wolfpack. Purdue and Gonzaga. Purdue's going to win that. Zach Edey's just a ball player, really good. Then Creighton, Tennessee. Yeah, Dalton Connect is my second favorite player in all of college basketball outside of Clemson. First flavor is Tominaga from Nebraska. Like him. He's a cool player. Let's see. So Elite 8, UConn, Iowa State. I'm going to say right here, here's the upset. I think Iowa State gets them. UConn's a better team, but I think Iowa State's going to outplay them. North Carolina, Arizona. This is a game I'm looking forward to. The only good thing about Clemson, if we lose in the Sweet 16, is that this game could happen. Watch, Clemson's going to lose and Carolina's going to lose, and I'm not going to get to see either way. But
Arizona, Bama.
I think Arizona will beat North Carolina in a dominating fashion.
Ooh.
Yep, I don't think that game will be close.
Wow.
Houston and Marquette. I'm going to say Houston wins that game. I think they're a great team. Purdue and Tennessee. Dalton Connect's going to outscore and beat Purdue. Zach Edey won't get the calls, and Tennessee will win. So Final 4, Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, and Tennessee. I think Zona's going to win. Caleb Love's going to carry them to the championship. And then Houston, Tennessee, Connect's Magic's going to run out, and Houston is going to win that to go to the championship. Final championship, Arizona versus Houston. Caleb Love's Magic's running out, and Houston will win that game in a lower scoring game. I'm going to predict, 78 to 74. So what is that, 152? There it is. So, yeah, I have Houston over Arizona. Yep, there it is.
In Arizona's own state.
There's our brackets. So let me ask you this, and we'll end it with this. So I have Houston. Michael, you have – who'd you have? Arizona? Yep.
Reluctantly.
And Anthony has UConn. Obviously, we are all pulling for Clemson, Duke, NC State. I think it'd be amazing. How cool would it be to see a Clemson Duke or a Clemson NC State final championship? That'd be sweet. But let me ask you this question.
That would be insane.
Take your team out of it. All right. Take your favorite team out of it. Don't think about them. What potential matchup are you looking forward to the most? While you think about it, I'll go and give my answer. Michael, you already talked about it. I hope Clemson plays, but if Clemson doesn't win, UNC Arizona will be an electric matchup. You kind of already talked about it. I think Caleb Love transferring out, and then both teams winning their conference. Both teams having a player of the conference from their team with Caleb Love and RJ Davis. That matchup, love to see that, and I would love to see Arizona dominate them, which I think they will. So that's the game I'm looking forward to. The potential game I'd look forward to, not including my team.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be y'all's?
Am I allowed to venture from what I picked?
No, yeah, you could go whatever. You can go what you picked.
So
what
there's
you
a
didn't.
matchup that I would like to see.
Yeah,
and it's Duke and Purdue.
I think you say
like
Duke,
I said,
Carolina.
I picked Creighton to upset Purdue, but I would love to see how Flipowski goes up against Edey. I think that could be a great matchup.
That's a possible one
once
too.
Before last year,
how'd that turn out?
Not good. Not good at all.
So a second game, right?
Cleaners.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah. That'd be a good one.
I do think that would be good. I think Flip has grown a lot, and like the team is. But really, that was when we had Derek Lively. So Flip was on Zach Edey significantly less. But yeah,
and then
my matchup. My potential matchup would probably be Purdue and UConn in the national championship. Like a Duke Carolina national championship would be insane. Yeah. But just disregarding that, obviously, like from a pure interesting to watch, Purdue and UConn, Donovan Clingan versus Edey is a great matchup for the sport. Two big programs. Purdue has become a big program. UConn is very much, I think, almost you could say is a blue blood at this point. But yeah,
take
so
Kentucky out and add them.
Yeah, we could take Kentucky out and add UConn. But Kentucky's got a little more history, but UConn's recency has definitely been stronger than maybe any team in the past like 10 years. But that matchup would be really good. Two good coaches. Dan Hurley would be going insane on the sideline, yelling at the referees about Zach Edey and all the stuff he gets away with. Clingan is a great big as well. So it would kind of be like, would they neutralize each other? What guards would play well? I'll take that as a potential really good matchup in the national championship.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Obviously, Carolina Duke.
How about DJ Burns, Zach Edey?
Yeah, that would be an interesting matchup.
Oh, that'd be
in the Final Four.
That'd be something.
Would
the
DJ
battle,
be able to
the battle of the opposites. Now maybe imagine Burns just getting the ball in the post and Edey's on his back. The spin shots he would make. Oh.
We need a couple more of those 3-pointers to hit against Carolina.
Yeah.
It's first ever career
watching Edey go at Burns. Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. I'll stick with my matchup, but that'd be fun.
Another good one. I know we saw it last year. I think Duke and Tennessee could be a fun matchup. Because I feel like they have very different styles as far as who their stars are. You think of Duke stars, you think of Filipowski as a big center, and you think of their guard play. You think of Tennessee, and you've got a really good forward. I mean, they've got great players other places too, but that could be a really fun matchup too. Yeah. Two good coaches.
If you want like purely talent on talent, I think Duke would be one of the teams. As far as like NBA potential,
who would be the other?
I'm trying to think. It's like it would probably either be maybe like Tennessee would be an option. Purdue would be UConn probably. I think UConn's probably got two guys that'll play in the league. So UConn Duke would probably be like future stars would be probably the best matchup. But yeah.
All right. Now that's fun one. Put you on the spot. Well, this will be the last thing. I promise. What would be the most boring matchup?
Oh, great question.
What
is
like
last year's NBA or last year's tournament?
What is the? You could pick a Final Four if you want. but
FAU
what
San
is
Diego State in the
Yeah.
Final Four.
what is the matchup that no one wants to see?
That's a good one.
I think I'm going to go a championship between Marquette and Illinois, or
I think San Diego State's got to be in there.
See, I think they've got that excitement from the run last year, and I remember the Padres getting it. I think they got the excitement last year. I think Illinois is like
they are in San Diego, which admittedly is a poppin' place.
Yeah.
Illinois, that's a good point.
I think anybody from the West.
Nobody else on the left. It's either San Diego or Illinois for me.
I would go Illinois.
And then on the right, probably Creighton, right?
Yeah. Did you go Creighton or Marquette?
Gonzaga. I don't know.
Gonzaga's been in the championship a bunch, though, so that would be like that'd be like, oh, is Gonzaga finally going to win?
Yeah.
Gonzaga, was it Gonzaga or Nova that hit the shot after Marcus Page hit the shot in the championship against Carolina?
Nova.
That was Villanova.
Nova?
Yeah.
Nova.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's never won a title, despite being in it like a bunch. So that would be somewhat of a story.
So, Michael, you're saying San Diego and Creighton?
Houston fans? I feel like I don't. No disrespect, Houston's a great program. Have you ever talked to a Houston fan?
I have not.
I've never been near the state.
I have lived in Houston. I lived in Houston. It's all Texas A&M fans.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Maybe just where I was, but I was right there, and I knew one person that went to Houston. Great program, but like that could be potentially a 1 seed that everybody's like, whatever.
Yeah, if that happened, I would probably be like that.
Yeah.
Houston.
So, Michael, your boring pick is San Diego and Creighton.
It's either them. On the right side, I think it's Creighton. Marquette's got like Shaka is a crazy coach. And by then, I'll pick Creighton. And
Creighton's got a cool story with McDermott, though.
That's true, but I don't think I don't know. For me personally, Marquette would be more of a story.
To me, Marquette's boring, so that's just personal preference.
No, I mean, look, they're probably second on everybody.
Anthony, what are you saying? Clemson and NC State?
Yeah. 2 programs that, it'd just be boring.
Trash coaches.
Bottom.
Terrible conference.
Yeah. Worst conference in basketball ever. So
the ideal. Yeah.
I agree with the Illinois on that side. I'll be honest. I'm actually kind of leaning towards Houston.
That's what we're talking about.
Houston and Illinois, I'm not excited to. I would watch it, but I wouldn't be excited to watch that game.
That's fair. So we got our most exciting. We got our most boring,
unexciting.
It'll probably be somewhere in between those, but it'll be fun.
Final Four would be Illinois,
ACC championship.
Illinois, Alabama, Marquette, Creighton.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. That'd be terrible.
How fun would that be?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all hopping on and joining us. Anthony, put you on the spot. You got 10 seconds to tell them whatever you want to tell them. Go.
Go Pack. We're going to keep it going. Why not us, but we're still I'm pulling for Clemson as well. So this is a Clemson podcast. So we will be pulling for Clemson to beat Arizona on Thursday.
Not Duke. Michael, you got 10 seconds. Say whatever you want to say.
Why was that so loud?
Go ahead and go.
When does my 10 seconds start?
And go.
If you guys didn't know, Toyota-thon is coming up soon. Make sure you go to your local Toyota dealership and look for the best deals on vehicles like Tundras and Tacomas. Be on the lookout for some great deals with 0% APR down. That's got to be more than 10. I mean, come on. It's Got to be more than 10. Why am I still on the screen by myself? Got to be more than 10. I mean,
Fun fact,
Oh, my bad.
I have a
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I have a Tacoma.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
there you go.
I'm envious.
Did you get it at Toyota-thon?
I didn't look at Toyota-thons. The reason I don't have one.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. This podcast is brought to you by Nissan. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I don't think it is. It's up to you. I don't think it is.
Hey, I appreciate y'all hopping on. Appreciate y'all. Always fun. We'll get together at the end of the season, talk about championship. Maybe before then, if there's a fun matchup between our teams. But appreciate y'all.
Oh,
Just wait. NC State and Duke coming up soon.
Crossed.
Could be. But hey, we'll see y'all. Thanks so much for joining us. Always fun to have y'all here. So, hey, thanks everyone for jumping on and joining us for the Clemson Tiger Wire podcast. We do want to give a shout out to College Basketball Report. They are the ones that provided that graphic for the coaches. That's not something we put together. That's from College Basketball Report. You can find them over on X. But hey, thanks so much for joining us. It's exciting time of the year. Make sure you're joining us for regular episodes. We're going to talk about baseball soon. This past weekend was not only a big weekend for college basketball for Clemson, we also had probably the best weekend series that we've ever seen with 3 comeback wins against FSU, and that last game being coming back from down 8 in the bottom of the 9th. So crazy series. We'll talk about that in the future, coming up soonly in an episode. But hey, as always, we can't wait to see you on the next episode. Until then, keep that Tiger pride alive and roaring. And as always, go Tigers.